And you have got my head in the clouds. Oh.
1, 2, 3. All that I need is your body next to me on rainy days. Just need your company.
Hi guys, what's up? It's Julia and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with
Julia's channel.
Today I'm here with one of my besties, Kyra Leroux. Today's video is going to be another episode in the Stories from Set series. Kyra and I have these conversations all the time, and so we're like, might as well share them. It's what the people want to see.
I was on a show called Psych when I was like 7, and I played like Pippi Longstocking's younger sister. And I was like a little kid in an orphanage, and they on the show they were doing this fundraiser for the orphanage, and like I had to stand there and be really happy that we got this money for.
How old were you?
7, I think.
So you had an agent at that point and you were auditioning?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was either that or I also did a grocery store commercial where I was like a pink princess. It was like a Christmas concert. Like the kids were putting on a Christmas concert, and it was for a grocery store. I don't know. And I was like the pretty pink princess. It was one or the other. I don't remember which one was my very first one. Once Upon a Time, I think. I had like a stint in grade 10. I think I was in grade 10. Where I did like a couple of small things in a row. And Once Upon a Time was the first one.
Wow. What was that audition process like?
Actually, the audition process for Once Upon a Time was crazy. I think I had 3 auditions for that role.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a co-star, but I don't know, it got I got a lot of like attention, I guess, from it. Like the Once Upon a Time fans, like,
wow,
they liked my character, like, and obviously they wouldn't have known that, but I was playing one of the main characters' like sisters in a flashback, so I guess there would have been a chance that they could have brought me back. Like, I don't know why the audition process was so crazy, but yeah, I did my initial audition, and then I did a callback with the directors and producers, and at that callback, 5 minutes before I went into the room, they asked us to do a British accent.
And this is all in person, because this is like pre-pandemic.
This is in person. This is pre-COVID, everything. So they asked us to do a British accent. So me and my mom are literally like 5 minutes wiki howing how to do an accent. Yes. I did my scene like the normal way, and then I did it with the British accent. And I got an email from my agent that night and said, like, they want you to come back tomorrow, but work on your accent. So I missed school that day. SkyTrained, which is in Vancouver, is like the subway but above ground. Like took transit by myself downtown to go see this like lady at her apartment.
Who was like a dialect coach?
Who was a dialect coach. And yeah, we spent like an hour or something working on my British accent, and then I went back, did the audition again with the British accent that time, booked the role. I don't know how I don't know.
When did you find out? That night?
Yeah, no, I don't remember. Actually, I might have been at school when I found out. I remember jumping up and down and being in the music room at school, like after band or something like that. I thought, like, this is my big break, like, you know?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, I was so excited to be on set. It was
really. Were you a fan of the show?
No, I had friends who were. I never watched the show. I started watching it when I knew I was going to be on it.
Was the experience being on set what you thought it would be?
I guess because I had been on set when I was younger, I had like an idea of what it would be like. And I also had friends who were already like kind of in the industry. So I knew that I'd get a trailer, and I knew that there'd be crafty, like, Actually, I didn't even know what crafty was. I remember finding that out from someone on set. But like, it's just like the crafty is like, for some reason, like the one thing everybody talks about.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, oh, crafty. Like, it's kind of like, well, yeah, there's snacks.
There's snacks. But sometimes the snacks are like not snacks that you would have at home, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, that's true. I think I remember actually people were a lot nicer to me than I thought they would be. Like people were really on that set specifically, they were really inviting, especially for a day player. Like I was there for 2 days, but I felt like people really cared about me, like the director did, and like I guess because I was younger too. Like when you're young on a set, like people are more like, oh, like there's a kid here, like you kind of excited, I guess.
Yeah.
Emma Booth, whose sister I played, I remember her, she was really nice. She was really, really nice to me. We did a whole like photo shoot in the backyard of this like beautiful house, like where we were shooting. It was this like little like creek that went through these trees, and like it kind of snowed. Like it was beautiful.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we were wearing like not gowns, but like petticoats and stuff. And like boots, and like it was just really cool, like the outfits that we were wearing. And so we did a whole photo shoot, and that was really fun.
I think I was so just amazed by how much of a machine it is and how many people are necessary to make the thing happen. Because like you think about like, oh, the director on set or people like that, but all the people behind the scenes, or even like the drivers taking you around, or the makeup artists and the hairstylists and the wardrobe people and the set teacher. There's so many people involved. I was actually thinking about this the other day, how miraculous it is when these huge movies get made, and just the creative collaboration that has to happen between, I mean, just think about like an actor getting the job, the agents involved, the managers, the casting directors, the acting coaches, like it's so many people.
That's so true. I remember being surprised by that too. I remember getting in the shuttle and and being like, oh, like there are drivers to take us around to places, and like you just don't consider those kinds of things when you're thinking about it. On my second day on Once Upon a Time, we shot in a huge green screen studio.
Wow. Oh, that's so
it's cool. Like an entire production studio space.
Wow.
Whole wall it was actually blue screen, but same difference. I was so amazed. Like I couldn't believe it. The amount of focus and energy that it takes. I mean, it's really exciting to be on set. And so people talk about that part of it, and people say, the hurry up and wait, like that kind of thing. But it's really challenging to get to set, be all excited for the day, like start with your energy in a certain place. And then all of a sudden, you have to sit in makeup for 2 hours and you have to sit still, and all your energy just goes.
Yeah.
Or you're not needed for 5 hours and you're sitting in your trailer not knowing when they're going to come knock for you. And then all of a sudden it's like, knock, knock, we're ready. And you've been sitting for 5 hours. You've got like freaking, I don't even know, like you've taken a nap and your whole face is sideways. Like, I don't even know.
Or if your call time, like you've had recently, like what, 2 something in the morning, I haven't experienced that. So I have a lot of respect.
So on the most recent project that I did, my call time was 2:30 a.m. because there was a lot of us. So they had to get us all processed, get all of our makeup and hair done, but there's only so many artists, so they have to stagger the people or the times, I guess. So I was called at 2:30 a.m. My makeup and hair was done by 5:30 a.m. and crew call. Oh wait, sorry, not 5:30, 4:30, 2 hours. And crew call wasn't until like 8 or 9. So, and crew call was at 8 or whatever. Yeah. So you're not going to actually be on set till 9:30 or however long it takes them to set up. So I'm sitting there at 4:30 going, okay, now I have like 5 or 6 hours.
That is wild. In my experience of having to be on set at like 5 in the morning, I haven't had enough days in a row where it becomes like not enjoyable. I don't know, like the feeling of waking up before the sun and going to set and driving in the dark. That feeling is just so special, but I can totally understand that if it became like an everyday thing and you're also juggling other things and it's not as enjoyable.
Yeah, there's definitely something magical about it. On day 2 or I mean, I didn't have a lot of days in a row where I had to do that, so that's good. My days were kind of spread out on my last project, so there was that, but I couldn't imagine, like, if it was your 4th or 5th day in a row of doing that, I would be like, tapped out. I'm done.
Because you're also juggling self-tapes when you're, you know, working like just every day, but sometimes. And then also just like life and other things going on.
Yeah, true. But to answer your specific question, it's like the focus. It's gathering up all your energy that, you know, you've been sitting in your trailer for however many hours, like your energy goes wherever it goes. And all of a sudden, like at a moment's notice, you need to be able to collect yourself, collect your energy, and then focus on the scene that you're doing.
Because also you can have days on set, like I even remember for J-Team where we'd have days where literally in one day we're filming scenes from different parts of the movie. So you're totally switching gears and like thinking about what your lines are, what the choreography is.
Breathing is the number one thing. Like if I don't feel present or focused, I do breath work exercises. There are a lot of like ones you can find online on YouTube. I'll just like put some music on and do like box breathing. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Or if you're feeling anxious, you can do 4, 7, 8. In for 4, hold for 7, and then out for 8. Wim Hof, I mean, there's a lot of different breathing techniques and exercises that you can do that helps to focus your energy. Meditation really helps. Sometimes it's a 20-minute yoga in my trailer. If I'm in my trailer, if I'm in the green room, it's music and breathing.
Imagine you just like break out into yoga and everybody.
Everyone's like, damn.
Have you ever experienced any sort of like imposter syndrome on set?
I wouldn't say that I experience imposter syndrome in the way that a lot of other people do. Like I've heard other people explain their imposter syndrome and it being really intense for them.
Yeah.
I experience imposter syndrome in my regular life. I'm like here right now, like I'm on my own right now in New York City.
Right.
You know, I don't have a job lined up right now. I've got an audition tonight, so that's nice, but I don't have like work to look forward to. So I'm just like, you know, like what, like I just have to figure out what to do. Like I just have to like I've been writing, I've been doing things to keep myself busy and to keep working on my craft like while I'm not working. That is, and this, you didn't even ask this question, but that is like the part about the life of being an actor that people don't talk about, is like the in-between time. It's like you really gotta like figure out something else to do.
Well, we talk about this all the time, like every week.
Yeah. Oh, but the imposter syndrome. That was the question. I was like, what?
I know there's just so many things to talk about.
I know there's so many things. But yeah, so I experienced that, like, why am I here? What am I doing in like my regular everyday life? So good for me.
Is that imposter syndrome though? Isn't imposter syndrome the feeling of like you feel that people are going to realize that you're, you know, haven't earned where you are versus
No, I get on set and I'm like, I've worked my whole life for this.
That's great.
For the most part. I'm gonna have a really intimidating scene. I'm like, why me? Why did they pick me for this? Why?
No. Well, so for Riverdale, I think you shared your audition story for that on your episode of Behind the Resume, which will be linked down below. I don't know. I'm always so interested in hearing everyone's audition stories because every project, it's different, right? And I also think it's like so interesting to hear when you've been auditioning for a casting office for a long time.
I got the audition notice. I was like, oh shoot, like I don't have time for an audition right now. I I was on set the next day, my first day on a project called Schmigadoon, which was an Apple TV show that I did. It was like a Wednesday night or something, and the audition was due on Friday, and I was on set Thursday and Friday. And I was like, I don't have time to do this. I called up my boyfriend at the time. I was like, come over. We have to do this audition right now because I have no idea how long I'm going to be on set for, Thursday or Friday. So we literally just have to do this tonight.
And for the initial audition, what was the description for Britta?
Britta, it was like a tall girl with blonde hair and a wide smile. I think that's
And it was a co-star, right?
and it was a co-star, yeah. So
18 episodes later, or however many we've done.
Yeah, so I was like, tall girl, like they want someone who, I mean, I always say this, they want someone who, you know, they say is like athletic, but actually, you know, looks like a model or whatever. I'm short and like kind of curvy and I just don't look like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm not getting this. So I literally look at the audition sides, which was only 2 scenes with 1 line each. I said like a few words. I was like, this is my initial like take on it. This is my instinct. And then I just like memorized the 2 lines quickly, shot the audition, sent it off, and completely forgot about it.
You did 1 take?
No, not 1 take.
Okay.
I think I did. Yeah. But it didn't take us like a crazy long time. Like it was just like 2 tiny scenes.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks later, I had completely forgotten about it. And I found out I was on hold. And then I think a week after that, I found out that I got the part. So it was like a month after my audition that I found out I got the part. I thought I had completely forgotten about it.
So you never did another audition? It was just,
it was just that one audition.
My gosh, that is crazy.
But I had been auditioning for those casting directors for years.
Had you ever booked something through them?
No.
Wow.
I've booked stuff with them since. Riverdale. Firefly Lane was the same casting directors. Yeah, but before that, no.
Wow.
Oh wait, that's not true. That's not true. That's literally, that's cap. That is not true. I almost booked something and then I didn't book it, but I forgot that because I didn't book the role, the producers wanted me, but the director thought I was too young. So they like they gave me like a little role that was like classmate girl where I said like 2 lines in a nickelodeon with JoJo Siwa.
Oh my God. Was it blurred?
Yeah.
That's fun. So that was the same casting directors.
That was the same casting directors.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was, yeah. I collected the comics.
Oh, that's so cute. So when you first went on set, were you like internally fangirling or you were cool, calm, and collected?
I don't know. I mean, I watched season 1 and I was into it. And then I stopped watching after that. Full disclosure. So I was definitely a fan of the show and I was definitely a fan of the people. Yeah, my first day on set, I was working with KJ and Lily. I definitely wanted them to think that I was really professional. I definitely wanted them to be like, oh, this girl knows what she's doing. So I didn't fangirl or anything. Like, I just tried to be a normal person.
You're like, oh, what's your name? Oh,
yeah, sorry.
Rose? Oh, Lily. Okay.
I don't know. I just was like, be normal, Kyra, be normal. But I wouldn't say I was like starstruck. I don't know. I don't really get starstruck like crazy. I mean, they're just people. They really are. Like when you see them in real life, like you see people on screen and they look like these beautiful, like otherworldly beings. But you see people in real life and you're like, oh no, that's a person.
That's so funny. I totally like agree. Yeah, you know, I get like so starstruck.
There are some people though that like, it's crazy how, because like I feel like on camera people are able to look so much more beautiful, I guess. Like people in real life are beautiful and more real. But like on screen you're able to like, it's so polished, I guess. Is the right word that I'm looking for. Like it's not even beautiful necessarily. It's like polished and like it's like picturesque, you know?
You know, when you have a show that brings you comfort for whatever reason, like, I don't know, a show that I've been watching lately is Abbott Elementary. I just really enjoy it, and it's such a nice, like, comfort show. In your head, it's like these people are these teachers and they live in this world, and this is real. And then I went to a SAG screening for Abbott Elementary, and the whole cast came out, and I was in the front row, and they did a Q&A, and in my head, I'm like, no, like, they are these people in this place. And it's funny because I literally, you know, am an actor, but I'm like, I can't, you know what I mean? Or
you're like, wait.
So cool. It's the magic of storytelling.
Definitely, if you've seen somebody on screen, like, you definitely assume that they're gonna be similar in real life, no matter what kind of character they play, unless it's like totally out there.
I just think it's the coolest thing to be a part of any art, whether it's a song that you wrote or a musical that you're in, or any art that gives someone an escape. That is just so magical. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have shows that are that escape for you?
The first show that came to mind, so I'll just say it, is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, because
my mom loves that show.
Of course your mom loves that show. Of course your mom loves that show. Oh my gosh. Mama Marley, what an icon. The first season especially is one of those shows that you can just really get into. And I'm like, oh, that's like my dream life, you know, like in New York City, like she's becoming a stand-up comedian. I don't really want to be a stand-up comedian, but you know, whatever. She wears pretty clothes and they seem to be in like an endless supply. So yeah. It's a really good show. It's just a really good show. Yeah. In terms of like a comfort show, New Girl for sure. Oh, I watched Spirited Away recently.
I haven't heard of that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a Studio Ghibli movie. Studio Ghibli is like one of the biggest production companies, or was, because I don't think it's operating anymore, but was one of the biggest studios in Japan.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they made a lot of anime movies. And Spirited Away is the like number one.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it is the like number one box office movie in Japan. To know your worth on set. Yeah, to know that that you have a voice and that you can speak up when something doesn't work for you, when you have an idea within reason. Yeah.
Within reason.
I'm
just thinking of all the things that you could possibly like.
I know. A lot of the times it's really easy to feel like you just have to do what people tell you on set, because the energy around it is like you should just be grateful to be there. If you are a regular on a show or a recurring guest star or like whatever it is, even if you're just a day player and something's really not working for you, like you can speak up and say something and advocate for yourself in terms of safety and comfort and all of those things.
Do you feel like that experience working with those people and what you've learned from that, do you think that you now operate differently when you go on other projects?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know about differently in terms of not differently in terms of who I am. Like I think I've just been able from that to feel more comfortable being myself on set.
That just takes time and, you know, experience.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing for me recently has just been filling my cup in other ways than acting. Yeah, I feel like it's really easy in this industry to tie your identity so much into what you do, that when you don't have success in what you do, then all of a sudden and this is my experience, like if I wasn't feeling successful, and it literally doesn't matter what the reality is, but if you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be,
right,
then you feel less than, like you feel like you aren't worthy because of that. And I think a lot of my focus recently has been on just separating myself from what I do. And when I'm not working, to really fill my cup in other ways, not just working on booking the next project, but working on rounding out other aspects of my life, because there are so many more aspects than just that. Yeah. And honestly, like, figuring out what those are. You know, what else do I love to do?
Right.
What else makes me happy? Like, what? Yeah.
And we talk about this too, that I've just found to be so interesting is, like, in so many ways I have so many things that I have dreamed of, right? Yet I feel like every time you get to the top of a hill, metaphorically, there's just the next hill, and that's so exciting. Not in a bad way, it's beautiful, right? Yeah. You unlock a door that you've been pounding on, and then so much more feels possible. And I think it's so important to, and I need to hear this myself, I find myself constantly always looking towards the next thing and not even stopping for a second to realize that I literally have something that I've always wanted, whether it's a type of friend, whether it's an experience, whether it's a new opportunity. And how do you balance that feeling of, like, I'm so grateful for where I am now, as you are working towards what now feels possible?
Yeah. It's definitely hard. The biggest thing is gratitude, honestly, just being grateful for everything that you have and everything that you are. Yeah, it's just I guess recognizing that multiple things can exist at once.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like we're taught to think so black and white, like it's either I have it or I don't. It's like, if you're searching for something, then you'll never find it.
Like searching for happiness.
Yeah, if you're searching for fulfillment,
mm-hmm.
Through what you do, or some sort of validation, it's never gonna be enough. And I feel that way about everything: relationships, friendships, career stuff. If you're looking for something external from those things, like external validation, then those things will never feel like enough, because you yourself don't feel like enough.
Right.
I think we reflect our surroundings, and our life predicament is a reflection of who we are and how we feel about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with variables.
Yeah.
Like, things happen like that you can't control, obviously.
Right.
You are in control of yourself, I guess, is the point. So yeah, I guess it's just like making sure you fill your own cup and reminding yourself that you are enough as you are, and that you already have what you need. It's just an adventure to get there.
Totally. Oh my gosh. I think about, even the start of 2020, but the few months before the pandemic, I did a short film at AFI. I filmed the day before my 18th birthday. And I always do this thing where, like, I make a little video for myself the night before my birthday, like talking about my year and my goals.
That's the most Julia thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
No, it's so true. So I made a video. I was, like, still in my, costume and makeup from this short film, talking about, what I hope to achieve turning 18. And of course, what ended up happening with the pandemic, we couldn't have seen coming. But I watched that video back, and I can't believe only a few years ago how just what I was talking about, what I hoped, I was like, oh, I hope I book like a co-star this year and sign. I actually, in my video, said I would love to sign to the agency that I did sign with in December of that year. But the way that it happened was completely not how I could have seen it happening.
Of course.
And of course, just like booking the movie and spending 2 months in Vancouver, all these things that, like, were so beyond what I could have even asked for, And just watching this video back made me realize how how far, you know, I've come in my own journey, and I often just feel like far from where I want to be. And I don't even think it's a lack of gratitude. You know what I mean? Like, I think you can be grateful and feel so hungry for what you want to achieve.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, thinking back to that version of yourself, I know that I have viewers who are maybe at that point of like, haven't booked that first acting job yet, or just that stage of things. And I often think about like what I would tell that version of myself, knowing what you know now and having the experience that you've had. If you could go back and tell that version of Kyra something, what would you say?
Trust yourself, trust your gut. That's the biggest thing for me, is just like, if you want to do something or something is calling you, do it even if you don't know why, in whatever way you can. Don't stop.
It literally can and will work out better than you could even fathom. I tell myself that now, and I see different manifestations come into my life that I'm like, I couldn't have written that. It takes us showing up and jumping into the deep end, or like, I don't know, what's that? A leap and the net will appear, that kind of thing, you know? Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Of course.
These are literally the conversations that we have, you know, on a regular basis. I just love having these conversations documented too, because then in a few years we can look back at the video.
You know what we said? And be like, oh my God, we were lying. No.
Or we can watch back and we're like, oh my God, you know, the things that we didn't know, or
yeah, exactly.
You know,
that we didn't
so
know were gonna happen or whatever. Yeah.
How much fun would it be if we got to do like another project together, either in LA or Vancouver or anywhere?
That would be amazing.
So much
Next
fun.
stop, Broadway.
That I'm